Hi everyone. In this video, I'll show you photos and talk you through how to do the walk from Swanage to Studland Bay in Dorset in the UK. I did this walk in August 2022. If you're walking in the opposite direction, I hope this is still helpful. It's a really beautiful walk with great views. It's mostly on an obvious dirt path with regular signposts. I started in Swanage town centre because that's where I was staying overnight. I'm not local and it was the first time I'd done the walk. I started walking at 6:50 a.m. and to Middle Beach at Studland Bay it took about 2 hours and 10 minutes, and that included some photo stops and just stops to look at the view. And then it was a further probably 40 minutes along the beach to the ferry, which goes to Sandbanks in Poole. So let me talk you through it. This is the western end of the beach in Swanage, which is where the town centre is. So basically you're walking along this beach and then up and around that bit of land there. So you walk along the footpath along the beach, past Punch and Judy, which was nice to see. And then you come to some groins at the far end of the beach. Just before the fourth groin, there is this staircase up to the road. So most of the guidebooks will tell you to go up this staircase and then follow the signs along the road. You can also walk along the beach and there's a little staircase at the end of the beach you can walk up, which is quicker, but I don't think that's accessible at high tide. It was low tide when I went, so further on in the presentation, I'll show you where that staircase is. But on this walk, I did walk up these steps. So up the steps and then along this road straight. And then the first right turn has a little sign that looks like this, Southwest Coast Park, and it's into Ballard Way. So turn right into Ballard Way and walk straight, and takes you onto the Ballard Estate. So basically you're walking down here, turn left, and then onto the coastal path, and it's all signposted like this. And then this is where we get to the actual path, and you're following along the cliff edge along here. Some nice flowers at this time of year. And the staircase that looks like this. Right, that will take you along to this little footpath. This is that alternate way along the beach. So I walk down here and the beach looks like this. So this is the final groin. And this end of the beach is much quieter. If you want a quiet visit to the beach or a quiet swim, this was a good place for it. Okay, so the little staircase looks like this. It's not signposted at all. And like I say, that was at low tide. Let me just go back. That was low tide. The watermark did look like this would be cut off at high tide. But if it's low tide, you could walk along the beach and up here. And then you carry along the path like this. There's some shady bits here. It's really the only shady bit for the whole walk. Okay, eastern end of Swanage Beach. And you follow through this gate and then up some steps. This first part of the walk for about, half an hour or so is uphill the whole way. You can do it if you walk a lot and you're moderately fit. I didn't find it too difficult, but the steps going up were probably the hardest part. And track a bit of local wildlife there. Lots of bunny rabbits on the route. And turning around at that point, this is what it's like looking back at Swanage. There's that final groin where we walked up and just along the path. Okay, at this point, you've got a choice. So this takes you to Old Harry's Rocks. Both routes are 1.5 miles from here. I turned right through the gate because that went along the cliff top, and I'm glad I did. It was really scenic. And both paths aren't that far apart. I could see most of the way someone's cycling along this path. So anyway, I turned right here and went through this gate, and the path is here. It is quite close to the cliff edge, not dangerously so, but if that would make you nervous, I'd take the path on the left. And here's our first glimpse of Old Harry's Rocks and the white chalk cliffs. So here, that kind of gravel path ends, and this is where it meets up with the other path as well, from where that stone was. So both paths meet here, and basically now you're just following along the cliff edge down to the end, and then back up the other side where you get another path that looks more like this one. So follow the track. And the next pictures are just of the view that you can see. So it's this one. Rocks there. In the distance, I couldn't see it, but apparently maybe because it was a bit cloudy on a clear day, you can see the Isle of Wight and a similar rock formation that is on the edge of the Isle of Wight. Okay, a couple of viewpoints along the way. Whole area is managed by the National Trust. You see people kayaking around here as well. Okay, so follow the path round. There are lots of warning signs about unstable cliffs, and there are lots of little paths out to viewpoints on the edge of cliffs. To me, that looked dangerous. I mean, you do that at your own risk. Just because a path is there doesn't mean you have to walk out to the end of it. You can still get a good shot. Nice light effects early in the morning as well. Okay, so this is now going down the other side of the cliff, and you can see in the distance Studland Village and Studland Bay. So I'm just following this path around here. Okay, so again, it's a really obvious track to follow. And I didn't see anyone at that time of the morning along the path until I got to Old Harry's Rocks. Okay, as you follow the path, there's this fork in the road. You go right. To the left and through the gate, there's a campsite. So just follow down to the right here. A little side track off the main path goes down to South Beach. I didn't go down that way, but if that's your destination, it's just part of Studland Bay. That's where you'd go. Carrying on down the path, and this now leads down to the main road, so it's concrete now. Okay, and this is the main road into Studland Village, so you come off the path and turn right. Lots of signposts like this along the way, so that's the way we've come from and that's the way we're going. Okay, here there's a sign showing you to turn off that main path to Middle Beach. So you just go down here. Nice views back to where we've walked along, and Old Harry's Rocks there. You see this concrete structure from World War II. So there's some information boards about it. Just keep walking past. And now we get to Studland Bay. So there were toilets back on Swanage Beach at both ends of the beach. No other facilities until you get here. So toilet block and a car park. So you just carry on through the car park. And then you get to a boardwalk that goes down to the beach, to Middle Beach at Studland Bay. So walking down here and straight down there to the beach. And this is what it looks like walking along the water's edge, along from Middle Beach. There's quite a lot of seaweed in Middle Beach, but the further along you go, that disappears. And if you're swimming here, that seaweed goes in about 1.5 meters, but then the water's clear. And there's these sand dunes back from the beach. So walking, I stopped here and swam, but you just keep walking all the way along here. This was the point where I'd been walking for 2 hours and 10 minutes. Okay, this is Knoll Beach. Be aware along here there's about a 10-minute walk section of a naturist beach. You can just walk through it, or if you don't want to, you can just detour back through the sand dunes. And when you get to the end, it just curves around to the left. This is called Shell Bay, and you can see in the distance the ferry that goes from this side that we're walking on over to Sandbanks and up to Poole. So that is my destination, curving round here to the ferry stop. There is this boardwalk that goes up to the car park and a little kind of cafe cart thing and the toilet block. So this is a map of the whole of Studland Bay. So we went from Old Harry curved round here to the terminal for the ferry. And this is a map of the whole walk: Swanage, Old Harry, Studland Bay, ferry up here. So once you get to the ferry, this is looking back to Shell Bay. Get on the right-hand side of the ferry, so the side that's the right as the ferry's travelling to Sandbanks. That's for pedestrians, and it's free for pedestrians. Cyclists look like they were going on the left-hand side of the ferry because they open a separate gate for them on the left, and all the cars are in the middle. The sign said it cost £5 for a car. And the journey only takes about 5 minutes. So this is on the ferry going across to Sandbanks. And that is the end. So I hope that was helpful if you're planning to do the walk. I highly recommend it. There's lots of little cafes and restaurants on this side as well. If you're carrying on up to Bournemouth or Poole, you can catch the number 50 bus up to Bournemouth town centre and station, or the number 60 bus up to Poole. And each of those buses go every 30 minutes on a weekday. So, as I say, hope that was useful. And if you do the walk, I hope you enjoy it. Thanks for listening.